Year 9 Project. Year 1, Week 1. Collapse is coming. Collapse is coming. My name is Shepard. If you're listening to this, you've already taken the first step that most people won't take until it's too late. You're paying attention. I'm broadcasting from an undisclosed location. Not because I'm paranoid, not because I'm a conspiracy theorist, but because what I'm about to tell you will make certain people very uncomfortable. People who benefit from you staying asleep. People who need you to keep consuming, keep believing, keep trusting that everything will somehow work itself out. It won't. Collapse is coming. And you have 9 years to prepare. Let me be clear about something right from the start. I'm not here to scare you. Fear without action is useless. I'm here to wake you up. To give you the information you need. And most importantly, to give you a timeline. Because here's what separates me from every other voice shouting into the void. I'm not just telling you that collapse is possible or probable or maybe in our lifetime. I'm telling you it's inevitable. It's accelerating. And based on every data point we have, you have until approximately 2035 to be ready. 9 years. That might sound insane to you right now. You might be looking around at your comfortable life, your grocery stores full of food, your tap water that still runs, your lights that still turn on, and thinking, this guy is crazy. I hope I am. I genuinely do. But let me tell you why I'm not. Here's the short version for those with limited attention spans, and believe me, that's most of us. We have crossed 7 of 9 planetary boundaries. These aren't arbitrary lines drawn by doomsayers. These are scientifically established thresholds beyond which Earth's systems become unstable. We've blown past the limits on climate change, biodiversity loss, land use, freshwater use, biogeochemical flows, novel entities, and atmospheric aerosol loading. And today, we are crossing the boundary of ocean acidification. We're approaching critical tipping points that once crossed cannot be reversed on any human timescale. We've surpassed 1.5 degrees of warming, and we're climbing. The coral reefs, the rainforests of the ocean, are dying. Not struggling, dying. And with them goes the foundation of marine ecosystems that feed billions of people. We are simultaneously approaching peak energy, peak food production, and peak freshwater availability. Now let me explain what that actually means, because this is where most people tune out. Peak energy doesn't mean we run out of oil tomorrow. It means we've reached the maximum rate of energy extraction from fossil fuels. From here, it gets harder, more expensive, more energy-intensive to extract what's left. And our entire civilization, everything from the food on your plate to the device you're watching this on, runs on abundant, cheap energy. Peak food means we've hit the ceiling of agricultural productivity. Soil degradation, water scarcity, fertilizer shortages, climate chaos. They're all converging to make it harder and harder to feed 8 billion people. Industrial agriculture has been mining the soil's fertility for decades, and the bill is coming due. Peak water is exactly what it sounds like. Aquifers that took thousands of years to fill are being drained in decades. Rivers are running dry. And you cannot grow food without water. You cannot sustain cities without water. You cannot sustain life without water. Now here's where it gets really interesting. And by interesting, I mean catastrophic. These aren't isolated problems, they're interconnected. They're dominoes standing in a circle, and we've started pushing them over. When energy becomes scarce and expensive, food production collapses, because modern agriculture is essentially the process of turning fossil fuels into food. When food becomes scarce, you get mass migration, social unrest, and conflict. When you have mass migration and conflict, infrastructure breaks down. When infrastructure breaks down, water treatment fails, supply chains fail, power grids fail. And then the real collapse begins. No one can tell you the exact sequence of events. No one can tell you whether it starts with a financial crisis, a crop failure, a war over water, or a combination of all three. But we can make educated predictions based on how complex systems fail. They don't fail slowly. They don't give you years of warning. They fail suddenly. And they fail completely. Think about how quickly COVID-19 disrupted global supply chains. Now imagine disruptions that don't end after a few months. Imagine disruptions that compound, that feed on each other, that spiral into permanent breakdown. The models, and these are models from institutions like the Club of Rome, the Limits to Growth study, updated with decades of data, point to systemic collapse between the late 2020s and mid-2030s. The data is tracking almost perfectly with the business-as-usual scenario they predicted 50 years ago. This is why I'm giving you 2035 as your deadline. Not because the world ends that day, but because by then, if you haven't prepared, it may be too late. The window for action will have closed. So here's the bottom line. And I need you to really hear this. If you, the person listening to this broadcast, are not able to independently and sustainably provide water, food, shelter, and power for yourself and your loved ones by the year 2035, you may not survive what's coming. I'm not talking about stockpiling canned goods and waiting it out. I'm talking about fundamental self-sufficiency. Water sources you can access and purify. Food you can grow, harvest, and preserve. Shelter that doesn't depend on a functioning grid or supply chain energy systems that work when the power grid doesn't. I'm not just talking about individual physical survival. I'm talking about community. Because lone wolves don't survive collapse. Communities do. You need to be finding your people now. Building relationships, developing skills, creating networks of mutual aid and support. You have 9 years to learn skills that took our ancestors lifetimes to master. 9 years to relocate if you're in a vulnerable area. 9 years to build resilience into every aspect of your life. Can it be done? Yes. Will it be easy? Absolutely not. Will most people do it? No, but I need you to do it because the new world needs people like you. People that care. My mission is simple, and it's the reason I'm risking everything to get this message out. I want to ensure that enough good people survive the collapse so that we can rebuild society in a way that is sustainable, cooperative, and designed with the well-being of all life on Earth in mind. Because here's what most people don't understand. Collapse isn't the end. It's a transition. It's painful, it's devastating, but it's also an opportunity. An opportunity to build something better from the ashes of a system that was killing the planet and enslaving humanity to consumption and debt. But that only happens if the right people survive. If people who understand ecology, community, cooperation, and long-term thinking make it through. If people who value life over profit, sustainability over growth, and wisdom over power are still standing when the dust settles. That's you. That's why you're watching this. You're the kind of person who asks questions, who looks at the evidence, who prepares instead of panics. This is just the beginning. This is year 1. By year 9, you have to be prepared. Only 1 in 4 will survive what's coming. That's not hyperbole, that's reality. Think of me as Noah, telling you to build your ark or fucking drown. In future broadcasts, I'll be sharing specific strategies, skills, locations, and technologies that can help you survive. I'll be building a network of people who are awake, who are preparing, who are ready to rebuild. But right now, I need you to do 3 things. 1, accept that this is real. Let go of denial. Grieve if you need to, then get to work. 2, start planning. You have 9 years. The clock is ticking. Don't waste them. 3, find others. Share this message with people you trust. Build your community now. The collapse is coming, but survival is possible. And what comes after, that's up to us. My name is Shepard. Stay awake, stay alive, and I'll talk to you in the next transmission.